whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Wadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Now this video is for edification purposes, especially towards the Lord's elect, which are on the four corners of the earth. Okay, and you know, the reason why a video like this is being made is because the times that we're living into, the Edomites, which is the so-called white man, starting with the so-called elites, trickling down to the rest of the nation of people, but mainly the so-called elites, who are basically setting up all these various media outlets, enticing people into accepting this CHIP, especially the brain CHIP, which is all no more than a trap, a snare to further enslave the people. And the closer we get to the end of this kingdom, the more convenient they are going to make these devices seem, which is going to come in the form of miracles, which are being worked on the left hand side, you know, witchcraft on a totally different level. And if you're not in the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, you're going to be ensnared into the witchcraft which Edom is throwing out there, especially through his internet and his TV media. So what I am going to do is I'm going to play this video and continue from there.
How would you like to become a superhuman, or at least a better version of yourself? As usual, Elon Musk has some ideas on how you can do that. He believes you can achieve this by implanting a chip in your head. This is no joke, as Musk has been testing chip brain implants in animals and is now testing them on humans using Neuralink technologies. What is Neuralink, how will Musk implant the chip in human brains, and what will Musk achieve with Neuralink? Join us as we dive into how Musk is finally testing Neuralink on humans. Many of us have had moments we wished for more brain power, perhaps to tackle a difficult school assignment, multitask to be able to meet deadlines, or learn some concepts in a very limited time. What if our brains can go through a reawakening, or we can simply add more processing power like we can add RAM to a computer? All these are enticing possibilities that imaginative filmmakers have tantalized us with for decades. Sci-fi show active, intelligent humans getting updates by opening up their heads and adding more power. However, thanks to an ingenious businessman and billionaire inventor, we might soon be living those films as a reality. That man is Elon Musk, whose intelligence is in no doubt. Musk started Neuralink to achieve what many people would assume is impossible. The company aims to build implantable chips that will allow the human brain to interact with computers directly. But what exactly is Neuralink? We will look into this before we get into how Musk is putting it into the human brain. Neuralink is a gadget that will be surgically inserted into the brain using robotics by neurosurgeons. In this procedure, a chipset called the Link is implanted in the skull. It has a number of insulated wires connected from the electrodes that are used in the process. This device can then be used to operate smartphones and computers without having to touch it. Give it up to Musk to try what others shy away from. This is the same man that wants to settle people on Mars permanently, while others debate the morality or ethics of such an idea. Technologies like Neuralink have their critics, but seeing the benefits, Musk will not be stopped. Before looking at the benefits of Neuralink, how does it work? Musk put it as, the neurons are like wiring and you need an electronic thing to solve an electronic problem. That is an oversimplified explanation, but we offer you what you need to know here. It is important to have some ideas of how the brain works. The brain consists of neurons that transmit signals to cells in the body, including muscle, nerve, glands, and other neuron cells. Every neuron is made up of three parts called the dendrite, the soma or cell body, and the axon. The dendrite receives the signals, the soma processes these signals, the axon then transmits the signals to the other cells. The neurons are connected to one another by the synapses, which release neurotransmitters. These chemical substances are then sent to another neuron cell's dendrite, causing the flow of current across the neurons. The electrodes that are part of the Neuralink will read electrical signals that are produced by several neurons in the brain. The signals are then output in the form of an action or movement, which is how you walk or lift an arm. The Neuralink device is implanted directly in the brain because if it is placed on the skull, it will not detect the signals produced in the brain accurately. Accuracy is very important in applications like this. Musk says it charges wirelessly. So what does Neuralink do? The main function, as already stated, is to bridge the gap between the human brain and technology. This has many applications, including the ones that will benefit a special class of people. For example, people who have suffered paralysis and can't move their body parts can use Neuralink to operate their phones and computer directly with their brains. This will be useful for people who have suffered diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. It can also help people who have suffered severe spinal injuries to walk again. People who can't form speech can take advantage of Neuralink, which will read signals in their brains and send them to a smartphone that will turn them into human speech. That's not all Neuralink can do, though, as it can draw pictures, take photographs, control heavy machinery with the brain directly, play games without physically touching a controller, and so forth. The possibilities with Neuralink are endless, and more applications are expected to come up with time. Musk started the company in 2016 and is the main source of funds. Neuralink has come a long way since then. It has been tested in at least 19 different animals with a high success rate. Interestingly, the procedure to install the Neuralink device, which Musk calls getting the link, is not complicated as some people would think. It doesn't even require general anesthesia and will be carried out by a robot in about an hour. The only evidence of the surgery is a tiny scar after the electrodes have been inserted in the brain, and there won't be any blood. The link is about the size of a large coin that you can easily conceal under your hair or a cap. Musk has demoed Neuralink using 3 pigs. He called the demo the 3 Little Pigs, showing that his team has successfully implanted Neuralink in their brains. The pigs were named Joyce, Gertrude, and Dorothy. Joyce had no implant and was only brought along for the audience to see how a normal pig behaved. Gertrude had had an implant for 2 months, while Dorothy used to have one but had it removed. Dorothy would prove that an animal could live fine post-Neuralink. Gertrude was the star of the show, and her Neuralink implant with 1,024 electrodes transmitted her brain activity in real time to a screen that the audience could see. They also heard beeps that Musk explained came when Gertrude's pigly brain received stimulation from the environment, which corresponded to her sniffing through her snout. The second major demo of Neuralink involved monkeys, which was more in line with the preferred test animals for scientists. More than 70,000 of them are used for research in the US alone. This demo was even more exciting as it showed the monkey named Pager playing a game with his mind. It is a big deal to get a monkey to play a game, but Musk's team got Pager to play the game with his mind. Musk gushed in a tweet, "A monkey is literally playing a video game telepathically using a brain chip." Neuralink actually released a 3-minute video showing Pager, a 9-year-old macaque monkey, that had not 1 but 2 Neuralink devices implanted in his brain in the motor cortex, which coordinates hand and arm movement. Pager first learned how to use a joystick to move a cursor to targets on a screen. The link devices recorded his neuron activity while he interacted with the computer and then fed the data into a decoder algorithm to predict Pager's hand movements in real time. Eventually, the monkey was able to move the cursor to where he wanted without touching the joystick, a narrator explained. Musk has said the trials in monkeys show Neuralink works well, and the company has confirmed it is safe and reliable, and the device can be removed safely. And now, with testing on animals complete, Musk is moving to the next stage, testing Neuralink on humans. This part is admittedly more complicated, especially if the goal is to repair neurological functions, because it involves bridging signals between existing neutrons, as Musk explained. He believes that Neuralink will move at a faster pace with humans, as they can articulate whatever they are feeling, which animals cannot do. The crazy part is that people are already clamoring for Neuralink to help their loved ones struggling with health challenges. Jeremy on Twitter asked Musk when Neuralink could start being implanted, as they want to help their husband who is suffering from memory loss and delusion. Jeremy said the dead part of the brain just needs to be replaced. Musk sees Neuralink doing a lot in the future. 25 years from now, Musk expects the tech to have developed into a full brain interface, which will enable symbiosis between humans and AI. He sees real cyborgs coming to life. For now, he's ready to start implanting Neuralink in human brains. He wants to start with people that have severe spinal cord injuries and are tetraplegic or quadriplegic. He repeats the tech can allow someone who cannot walk or use their arms to be able to walk again. The bar for the Food and Drug Administration's approval to carry out chip implant trials on human brains is extremely high. However, that is not a problem for Musk and his team. Musk said his standards for implanting the device in the human brain are higher than what the FDA requires, just like his standards for safety are much higher than what the US government requires. Tell us what you think of Musk implanting Neuralink in the human brain in the comments.
So, you saw the video, and this is what the so-called elites are moving towards concerning their New World Order agenda. And one thing about this CHIP is that they're not going to just make it seem like something that's really cool. They're not going to make it seem like something that's really advanced. You know, they're going to make this thing seem like something that is so convenient that it is a must-have. Like you must have it, you know, it's because it will make your life easier. And conveniency is what's going to lead a lot of people to their destruction. Because through conveniency, a lot of people here in America became obese, out of shape, lazy, not wanting to leave their house to do things. I mean, for crying out loud, they have a DoorDash that they can call where the person will take a grocery list and will literally go to the retail store to buy whatever is on the list with the caller's money, and then to return their change respectively. So America has always been a country of conveniency, but now it's becoming a country of conveniency to the point to where people's becoming more reliant on technology than they are on what the Lord has naturally created, such as life, nature, trees, grass, animals. Remember when people used to go out and hunt for their food? Well, Esau's made it so convenient for you to get your food, you don't even have to go through the hassle anymore of having to hunt down deer or wild buck or buffalo or go fishing. You don't have to do that anymore. You know, they have people to do those things for you. All you have to do is just drive to your nearby grocery store. Remember when people used to walk everywhere? Now they got cars, they have buses. So this country has become a very convenient country. And the next step to major conveniency is this CHIP, which is the mark of you know what. So this is the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means. And through deception and conveniency, a lot of people is going to be tricked into accepting this CHIP. People are going to be manipulated into bowing down to an idol, an image. And it all starts with taking that CHIP. Some people are far gone. They don't believe that the CHIP is the MOTB. But it was already prophesied that they would be led to believe in it for their own destruction. So let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And that falling away started during the dark ages when we were taken out of power. This was the beginning of Edom rising back up into power. Okay, and in the process of him rising back up to power, we were put into slavery, where we lost our heritage, our nationality, which was beaten out of us during the time of slavery. Okay? And that man of sin be revealed. Okay? And that man of sin being revealed started with the Heavenly Father Yahweh through his son Yahushai, sending down the Holy Spirit, the Ha-Racha Kwadash, to Abba Bivens, which led to him, waking up and teaching High Priest Ariyah, Elder Yaquab, King Masha, Salaki if I'm missing any others, but he taught High Priest Ariyah, King Masha, Elder Yaquab, High Priest Ariyah, and then they taught our teachers who we teach today, and then the Lord further opened up the understanding of the apostles who we see today, such as Apostle Tahar, Apostle Rakha, Apostle Ariamalab, Apostle Kabar. Okay, and through those men, a lot of revelations was given to them from the Lord. So now that we're coming back to our nationality, now that we're waking up to our heritage and who we truly are, which is the fact that we are the true biblical Israelites according to the scriptures, that man of sin is being revealed. And who's that man of sin? That man of sin is the Edomites. That's the self-proclaimed white man, starting with the so-called elites, trickling down to the rest of the nation of people. So this is the man of sin that is being revealed. And a matter of fact, in the book of John, chapter 8, verse 44, Yahushua said what? He said that Cain was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth. So if you're somebody who abides not in the truth, what does that make you? A sinner. So that man of sin is talking about Esau, Edom, okay, and Cain, okay, he came back in the reincarnation as Esau. So these Edomites, they are the man of sin who is being revealed, the son of perdition, which perdition is another word for destruction, okay. So everywhere these Edomites go, they bring nothing but destruction. Whoso, it says, who opposeth and exalt himself above all that is called God. And that's exactly what he is doing, okay, especially with this left hand witchcraft, okay, because at the end of the day, this CHIP, it's not just an idol, it's also witchcraft it's also left hand sorcery, it's left hand witchcraft, okay, because through this witchcraft, they're able to what? Perform miracles. They're able to, perform deception, deceive people, mislead people. Through this witchcraft, they're able to keep people in the dark and manipulate people. So through this witchcraft, they're able to, create all this various technology, you see? And through this technology, through this witchcraft, he's boasting himself against Yahweh and against his creations. So, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Yahweh. Okay? Because Yahweh, okay, through his son Yahushai and the angels, which those angels were the elect men, Yahushai and his elect men, when they created the heavens and the earth, they saw that everything was good, meaning nothing else needed to be done with it. It was perfect. But this devil comes and, he creates GMO seeds. He creates GMO foods. And what is he saying? He's saying that the creations which Yahushua and his elect men created was not perfect. So he's coming with his pseudoscience and saying, look, this is the way. This is how things are supposed to be. You know, the Lord made somebody paralyzed for a reason, but then this devil comes along and says, you know, God made a mistake, and you know that this can't be right. But here, you want to walk again. We can give you the ability to walk again. You see. So through his witchcraft and through his technology, he's boasting himself against Yahweh. Okay, and for the record, Yahweh does not make mistakes. Okay, if somebody is paralyzed, especially from their birth, that is judgment the Lord brought upon that person for their transgressions they committed in their past life. The Most High never makes mistakes. So who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped? Because ultimately, the whole purpose of getting this brain CHIP inside of people is what? Is to control them. So because the so-called elites, they want to be worshipped as God. They want to be worshipped as the Most High. So that he is as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Okay? Okay, and sitteth in the temple, right? And what's the temple? We are the temple, okay? And that's presuming to 1 Corinthians 3:16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God? Who's the temple of the Most High? Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. The Israelite man. The Israelite man is the temple of Yahweh. So by these Edomites putting a CHIP inside the body of the Israelite man, that's the same as him sitting in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is Yahweh. And one way the so-called elites plan on doing this is by tricking our people through witchcraft, sorcery, lies, and lying wonders into accepting a charagma, a brain CHIP inside their brain. Because how does the Lord control our people? The Lord controls our people through their spirit. And where do our spirits reside at? Inside our minds. Our spirits dwell in our minds. So our government comes from on high, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And Esau figures if he can get a charagma inside our people, then he can force them to get a CHIP inside their brain so he can further control them. So he can sit in the temple of the Israelite, showing himself that he is the Most High. Now let's go to the book of Daniel real quick, chapter 7. And I'm going to just type in 1. And we're going to type in center F. And let's type in speak here. And then let's go down here. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 25. And it says this. Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. I don't know why it's doing that. Excuse me. You know what? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Give me one moment, please. Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. And it says this. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. Okay? And an example of these Edomites, especially Elon Musk, speaking great words against the Most High is what? He's basically saying, look, through this CHIP and through our technology and through our witchcraft, we can make you walk again. If you're paralyzed, if you're blind, you'll be able to see again. if you have Alzheimer's, you'll never forget again. We can repair through this device. We can repair damaged cells. You know, you'll age much slower. You know, if you're deaf, we can make it to where you can hear again. You know, you'll possess superhuman strength. Now, what did you hear at the very beginning of the video I played? He said, how would you like to become superhuman? Well, guess what? The serpent told Eve the exact same thing in the Garden of Eden. What did he say? He said, ye shall not surely. Now that serpent is talking about a very crafty and subtle man. It's not talking about an actual serpent. It's talking about a very shrewd and crafty and subtle man. Okay? He was called a serpent because of how sneaky he was, how cunning, how crafty, how wise, how shrewd he was. Okay, but that man, well, that wicked man, when he spoke to Eve, what did he tell her? He said, ye shall not surely die, but ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Because when the Lord's elect man becomes a god via receiving those extraterrestrial bodies with the law, statutes, and commandments embedded into their minds, they're going to be what? Superhuman, right? They're going to be superhuman. So the serpent told Eve, you shall be as gods. So even going back to the Garden of Eden, the serpent had plans. He had plot. He plotted from the beginning to become a god. And ultimately it will be through what? His technology. Okay? It will be through witchcraft. It would be through his sorcery, and it would be through technology. This is how he intended to become a god on the earth. Okay? Because he never seen the way of the Heavenly Father Yahweh through his son Yahushai as the way. You know. Which what? He seek to come up with his own way, which is through his technology. And he, the so-called elites, okay, the Edomites, you know, including Elon Musk, who is an Edomite, he shall speak great words against the Most High, okay, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and a dividing of times. Like it says in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, he that now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. Okay? Now if you notice, right, it says that he shall think to change what? Times and laws, right? Because the Lord has a specific set of laws on how the earth is to be ruled, you know? And when you go outside of those laws, what happened? Corruption comes into the earth. You know? That's why we got GMO trees, GMO grass, GMO food. Why? Because this devil thought to change times and laws. Especially when it comes to transgressing the laws of the Heavenly Father. You know? And now he's trying to change the laws of how the human body operates by inserting his mark into people's minds, into people's body. So let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 73. And I'll start at maybe 4. So give me a moment here. Okay, so let's do this. I'll click right here. I don't know why it's doing that. Why not just scroll down? Alright, so let me grab my mouse real quick. Okay, so let me see. So this is the book of Psalms, chapter 73, and I'll start at 7. It says their eyes stand out with fatness. Okay, which means what? Their eyes stand out with fatness, meaning they are greedy. Esau's a very greedy individual, you know. That's why in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 4 it says what? Their eyes stand out with fatness. Because, you know, having control, having all of the earth's resources and all of the earth's gold, silver, REMs, which is the acronym for rare earth metals, rare earth minerals, you know, having control over all the oil, the gas, the fossil fuels, the lithium, the precious stones, that's not enough for him. Habakkuk, you know, the next step now is what? Is to have full control over the people. So Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 4, well 2 verse 5. I'll start at 2 verse 5. Yea, also because he is a proud man, neither keepeth, yea, because he is excuse me, let me reread that again. Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. And what is that wine? That wine is his philosophy. And a part of his philosophy is what? You can transcend the human nature. You can transcend the human limits via transhumanism. Through what? Bionic limbs, having a brain C-hip in your mind, being able to, you know, being able to solve mathematical problems. Now I'm talking about 5-7 digit mathematical problems within seconds. You know, so the wine of these Edomites is all based on witchcraft and rebellion. You know, also his democracy, his philosophy, the philosophy of these Edomites is also a part of their wine. He is a proud man, right? Which is why he speaks proudly against who? The Holy One of Israel. He speaks proudly against the Most High, Yahweh. Okay? Because of his technology, all these advancements he have. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell. You see that? He enlargeth his desire as hell. Alright, their eyes stand out with fatness, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. Their eyes stand out with fatness, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people, which is talking about the NWO. So back in Psalm 73 and 7, their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. And another example of them speaking wickedly concerning oppression is what? Putting CHIPs in people under the pretense of you'll be able to exceed the human limits, you'll be able to do this, you'll be able to do that. But behind the smoke and mirrors, there is a wicked agenda behind it. And it's a agenda to enslave your soul, to take away whatever freedom you thought you had, and to make you a perpetual slave to the New World Order. So they speak wickedly concerning oppression. They want to further oppress the Israelites by putting a device the size of a grain of rice, which we know to be the CHIP, which is the MOTB, inside of our people, so they can make them perpetual slaves. So they speak wickedly concerning oppression. You know, Jake being in the ghetto, being strung out on drugs, you know, gang banging, killing each other, doing all this other shit. That's not enough for the so-called elites. They want to put CHIPs inside of them so they can control them and make them perpetual slaves. They set their mouth against the heavens. Didn't I read that in Daniel the 7th chapter? Okay. He shall open his mouth. He shall open his mouth against the Most High. Okay, because where does the Heavenly Father Yahweh dwell at? He dwells in the spirit realm. He dwells in the spirit world, or the spirit realm, which is the third heaven. Because you got the first heaven, which is here on earth. The second heaven is what the world calls outer space. The third heaven is the spiritual realm, where everybody's spirit goes where they die. So when they set their mouth against the heavens, it really means that they're setting their mouth against the Most High and His tabernacle. Okay? And they set their mouth against the heavens because of their technology. You know, they're proud, they're boastful. It says, and their tongue walketh through the earth. And an example of their tongue walking through the earth is through what? Their media, their TV, the internet. This is how their tongue walketh in the earth. You know, they're showing the world what they can do with their technology via a chip. You know, because when you think about it, the vast majority of the devices that we have, they all run on what? They run on a chip, which basically is the brain of the entire motherboard, which sends out information between all of its components, so your device can operate the way it does. It all falls back to a brain chip. It all falls back to a chip which acts as the brain to the motherboard. You see? So now what they want to do is they want to put a CHIP inside of people's brains. Why? Because they see people's brain as the motherboard. You see that? And they want to put a device in there that act as a brain for your brain. He that have ears to hear, let him hear. Okay. So let's scroll here. Okay. It says, therefore this people turn thither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out unto them. Okay, so that's all I pretty much needed to read there, right? So I'm gonna go back to 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. First, let me get this right here. Let's get Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 1. Goodness, man. What is going on with this laptop? Okay, Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 1. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, because thine heart is lifted up because of their technology, their witchcraft, their sorcery, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas. And the seas is talking about who? It's talking about the people. Because they plan on sitting in the seat of Yahweh in the midst of the people by putting CHIPs inside of people. However, yet thou art a man. This is a message to the Edomites who have complete control and rule over the entire planet Earth, who call themselves elites. This is a message to them who call themselves Rothschilds and Rockefellers. This is a direct message to them. Yet thou art a man, and not the Most High, though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Because the Most High controls people through their spirits. And remember, your spirit dwells where your mind is, namely where the pineal gland of your mind is. That's where your spirit dwells at inside your body. That's why there's a saying, the eyes are the windows to the spirit. When you look into somebody's eyes, you're really looking at their spirit. Okay? because the eyes is the windows to the spirit. Okay, so they plan on sitting in the seat of Yahweh in the midst of the peoples by putting a CHIP inside them. However, the so-called elites need to be reminded that thou art a man and not the Most High. Okay, and if you're a man, that means you bleed just like the next man bleeds. The Most High don't bleed. He's a spirit. Okay, he's a spiritual being. Of course, the Most High has arms. He has a body. Okay, he has a head. He has hair. He has facial hair. And he's a dark-skinned man, just like his son Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. The angels are also dark-skinned men with woolly hair. And the Lord's people, okay, are Israelites, which are the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. But the point is that you so-called elites, you are a man and not the Most High, though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. Daniel was a very, very wise prophet. Okay? So here it says what? It says, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel, and there is no secret they can hide from thee. Okay? So, let's go back to 2 Thessalonians, because I'm going to come back here to Ezekiel 28. Let's go back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse, I don't know the exact scripture, but I'm going to just, okay. So let's scroll up here. So 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Yahweh, or that is worshipped, so that he is as Yahweh, sitteth in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is Yahweh. Remember ye not that when I was with you, I told you these things, and now ye might know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. And we're in a time where the Edomites are being exposed on a high level. And they're just putting themselves out in the open to be exposed at this point. Elon Musk, his agenda, which Elon Musk, he's only pushing the agenda of the so-called elites. He's just a puppet, just like Joe Biden, just like Fauci. Okay. Okay, just like Bill Gates. They're all puppets for the so-called elites, and that they're all working for the New World Order. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, and he's being revealed, presuming to Luke chapter 8, verse 17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. And how's the Lord consuming them with the spirit of his mouth? That's through his prophets. That's presuming to what? Luke chapter 1, verse 69 to 70. As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets. The Lord is consuming the wicked, the Edomites, with the spirit of his mouth. And who's the wicked? Okay, the wicked is talking about Edom. Let's prove that real quick. Okay, Malachi chapter 1 verse 4. Get straight to the point here. Okay, Malachi chapter 1 verse 4. Whereas Edom is the focus in this verse. Whereas Edom, who's Edom? That's the so-called white man, starting with the so-called elites. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them what? The border of wicked. and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. So we know that the wicked is talking about Edom, which is the so-called white man. So for 2 Thessalonians 2:8, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, meaning the Lord's going to he's going to expose these devils. They're going to get exposed. They're going to get consumed by and the Lord is going to do this by speaking through the mouth of his holy prophets. That's how the wicked is being consumed with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Because before the Lord brings any kind of calamity, before the Lord brings any kind of judgment, he always sends his prophets first. But during Jacob's trouble, during the nuclear war of Jacob's trouble, Yahweh Shai is going to make his grand appearance. Excuse me. Okay. 2 Thessalonians 2:9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, because the so-called elites, who are the heads of the Illuminati, as well as all these higher echelon, which are the majority of them are Edomites, the higher echelon amongst the Illuminati, which are Edomites, and then you got the lower luminaries, which are the majority of them are Edomites. Some of them are Jake. Guess what? They all worship Satan. Okay? Especially the so-called elites. Their God is Satan. And they're doing his work. Okay? They're doing his work. With all power and signs and lying wonders. Now let's look up this definition here for power. Let's look up power here. And what do we get? We get dunamis. Dunamis.
Strong's G, 1411. Dunamis. Dunamis.
Okay, dunamis, dunamis. Okay. And down here, what do we see? We see strength, power. We see strength, power, ability, with all power, right? With all ability, because like it says in Micah, right? Let's get that real quick. Micah, because they have the ability to do these things. Why? Because it is in the power of their hands. Micah chapter 2 verse 1. Woe to him that devises iniquity and work evil upon their beds. The whole idea of putting CHIPS inside of people is a result of them meditating upon these things when they lay down, or whenever they're wide awake. They're meditating on these things, on how to further destroy the people, oppress them, put them in slavery, hardcore bondage. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. So they have the what? Ability to do these things. It says inherent power, power residing in a thing by virtue of his nature. Okay. Now wait a minute. Isn't there not power within that CHIP? Okay, does not that CHIP, especially if it's implemented into the brains of the people, don't it not give the people the power to do things? Power residing in a thing. You see that? Power residing in a thing. But it's not by virtue of his nature. Okay? But there is power in that CHIP. And it's really power on the left-hand side. Through witchcraft and sorcery, or which a person or thing exerts and puts forth. Okay, what did we see right here? Power for performing miracles. You see that? And through this CHIP, many miracles on the left hand side is going to be performed. okay, which is going to be performed through what? Witchcraft and sorcery. So power for performing miracles. So that brain CHIP, that's a device that's being used for performing miracles. It says moral power and excellence of soul. It says the power and influence which belong to riches and wealth. Okay? Power and resources arising from numbers. Power and resources arising from numbers. Power consisting in or resting upon armies, forces, host. Okay, and you better best believe they probably gonna try to put this inside of soldiers, the CHIP inside of soldiers, armies. You see that? But here, let's go back to the definition for D. Okay, for the definition for D, what do we see? The power and influence. Because these so-called elites, they have power and influence over the people, and their main influence come from what? Their media, the internet, their TV. This is how they influence people. And they use deception to do it. They lay privately of laying snares. Okay? So it's through this mass, media and internet and TV that they're able to lay snares for the people to lure them into something that they will never be able to escape from. So it says the power and influence which belong to riches and wealth. And what does the scripture say concerning their riches and wealth? Well, let's get that in Ezekiel chapter 28 verse 4. Okay. So this is the book of Ezekiel. Okay, Ezekiel chapter 28 verse 4, and it says what? With thy wisdom and thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. So with their wisdom and with their understanding, they have gotten them riches. You see that? And what have they chose to do with those riches? They chose to spend a lot of that money on deception, misleading people, causing confusion, especially through the media. They chose to spend it on sorcery and witchcraft. You see? And has gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. And also with this money, they have also used it on what? Creating mass CHIPs. Okay? So through their power and through their influence, through their wisdom and understanding, they have gotten them with riches. Now, we looked up the word for power, right? Let's go into signs. With all power and signs, right? It's semaion, it's the Greek word, which is the same word for miracles in Revelation, I believe 13 verse 14. Where it speaks about how he deceived them through the miracles which he had power to do. That word for miracles in Revelation 13 and 14 is also Semayon, which means what? With all power and signs, right? And what do you see right here? We see a sign, a mark, a token. Okay, so let's define token. What does token mean? Define token. Right here we have a token is a thing serving as a visible or tangible representation of a fact, quality, feeling. Okay, and right here we have sign, emblem, badge, representation, indication, mark, index, manifestation. Okay. Okay. And what do we see right here under noun for token? A voucher that can be exchanged for goods and services. Typically one given as a gift, right? And what does the scripture say about a gift? Let's get that in Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 7. Okay, so this is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift. Now would not that brain CHIP be considered a gift? Indeed, it would be considered a gift. It would be considered a token, right? And a gift destroyeth the heart. Now, the word heart goes back to the Hebrew word lab, which means your mind. So surely a gift destroyeth the mind. So when we define token here, what do we get? We get what? For the noun definition of it, we get a voucher that can be exchanged for goods or services, typically one given as a gift or forming part of a promotional offer. And isn't that not what they're doing? Are they not using the brain CHIP to promote people to a higher status of being their own self-being? Okay. Now here we have what? A voucher that can be exchanged for goods and services. Now can you not use the CHIP? Can you not use the CHIP as a voucher for making exchanges for goods and services? Once they get that CHIP inside you, you become the commodity. You become the currency. You can be exchanged for goods and services. Just like money, just like diamonds, just like goods that are sold on a supply chain, or goods that are being traded across markets. You can be exchanged at any given moment. So that CHIP is also likened unto a token. Then we have synonyms down here: voucher, coupon, chit, docket, stamp, order, credit, note, IOU. Isn't that what the petrodollar is? But they want to do away with the petrodollar and make the IOUs digital. So that's pretty much all I wanted to read there for token. Okay. It says that by which a person or thing is distinguished from others and is known. And you better best believe anybody who has that CHIP inside their brain, they are going to be distinguished from others. And you know how it's going to be easy to tell? Because they're going to be uploading videos on it. Hey, look what I can do. Look what I can do with my brain chip. Look, I can do this, you know. I could do 5 backflips up in the air, and I can solve 5-digit math problems in within a second or two, you know. I'm able to shoot a basketball and hardly even miss. You know, I can ride a bike while standing up on a handle or seat. Okay, I can do things on my phone without touching it. I can move the cursor on my laptop without even touching the mouse. So people's gonna upload videos on what they can do with this brain CHIP. Then what do we have here? We have a sign, right? And those that have that CHIP inside of them, that CHIP is going to act as a sign as to those who are followers of the NWO, a sign as to those who have accepted the so-called elites as their God. Okay? And here we have what? We have prodigy. It says portent, an unusual occurrence transcending the common course of nature. And that's exactly what that brain CHIP is. That brain CHIP is an unusual occurrence transcending the common course of nature. And now you start to get why they're so hell-bent on transhumanism. Because they're trying to transcend the common course of nature. But it's through left-hand means. It's through witchcraft. It's through technology and pseudoscience. It says, of signs pertaining remarkable events soon to happen. Okay, which that's pretty much all I needed to read there. Okay. And down here we have neuter. Okay, neuter. Let's look up this word neuter. Define neuter. I'm saying that correctly.
Neuter.
Neuter. Okay, of denoting of gender of nouns in some languages, typically contrasting masculine, feminine. Okay, the spirit is a neuter word in Greek. Neuter. Okay, so this, I just wanted to look this up. You know, I like to look up things. I like to research. Let's see here. Social. And okay, verb, castrate or spray. Domestic animal. Neutered. You know, and that's another thing. That's the spirit that they have castrate here, right? Castrate or spray a domestic animal. All pit bulls must be registered and neutered. Guess what? If you take that charagma, if you take that Corox, if you take the CHIP, which is the mark of the you know what, presuming in Revelation 13 verse 16 to 18, you become neutered. Spiritually, you become neutered. Because a male pit bull that is neutered is what? Unable to have children. He's unable to bring forth life. Okay? And if you take that CHIP, then guess what? The so-called elites, who is the god of the dead, that's the so-called elites. They are the god of the dead. But if you take that CHIP, the so-called elites become your god, and therefore you're not able to bring forth life. You're not going to be allowed to read the scriptures. You're not going to be allowed to pray to the Most High. The Most High is not going to hear you anyway if you have that CHIP in you, because you've been cut off from your power source at that point. You know, you're not gonna be able to speak the words of life. So spiritually you're gonna be a neutered person. Okay, and check that out. Make ineffective. Heavy, man. It's heavy. Okay. And then right here, what do we see under sign? We see miracle. We see wonder. Define wonder. Let's look up wonder. Okay. Wonder, a feeling of amazement and admiration caused by something beautiful, remarkable, or unfamiliar. And, you know, they gave you some examples of wonders, right? A monkey that had 2 brain implants, right? He was able to play a game of ping pong on the computer using his mind. Now, speaking of wonder, let's look up the definition for lying wonders. Okay, of course, the word there for lying is what? Pseudos, which means false. But let's look up wonders. Okay, and we have here, we have teras, the Greek word teras.
Strong's G 5059. Teras. Teras.
So we scroll down here for teras, right? We see what? For wonder, we have what? A prodigy. We have portent. We have what? Miracle. Miracle what? Performed by anyone. So if you notice, the scripture said lying wonders. Now what I like to do, let's go into lying, okay? You know what? Let's do this. I want to look at the word lying anyway. We know that under wonders we have what? Miracles performed by someone, right? So we're going to go back here. I'm going to click on this. And then I'm going to do this. Okay, so the Greek word here for lying is pseudos or pseudos. Some Akim, some brothers in the truth say pseudos. Some say pseudos.
Strong's G 5579. Pseudos. Pseudos.
Okay, which pseudo means false. So pseudo comes from the Greek pseudos or pseudos, and what do you see here? A lie. It says conscious and intentional falsehood. So these Edomites, especially Elon Musk, the so-called elites and so forth, they are completely aware that they are lying and misleading the people, right? Into saying, you know, no harm is going to come from this or that. But they have ulterior motives to control people from a distance who have this CHIP inside their brain, you know. Okay? So pseudos is what? Conscious and intentional falsehood. So they are intentionally giving you people falsehood, man. They're telling you, you know, people's going to be able to exceed to the next level and you're going to be able to do this and that and blah, 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 blah. And how do you know if that monkey was really playing the ping pong using his mind? How do you know if the ping pong game wasn't just playing on his own and they just had the monkey there, you know? These are things you got to consider. Intentional falsehood, right? So it says, in a broad sense, whatever is not what it seems to be. Like I said, and they're telling you that this thing will, you'll be able to walk, you'll be able to hear, you'll be able to see, you'll be able to speak proper language if you had speech problems. If you're retarded, you'll know how to wipe your butt, you'll be able to jump, draw, write, proper grammar. You know, you'll be able to solve mathematical problems, do science, this, that, forth, and the other. But what they're not telling you is that there is a wicked agenda behind it. And that wicked agenda is what? If you disobey the orders of the so-called elites, they can just press a particular button which will do something to your mind, right? They will press a particular button that will cause the CHIP to do something to your mind, which will cause you what? To collapse and die. Or they can make you do something against your will. Okay? I've done a video where they had a CHIP inside the brain of a flying roach and a locust, and through a controller, they was able to control where those insects were going. So with the CHIP inside your brain, they'd be able to control you, your actions. If they tell you to do something and you say no, they can just make you do it. And all it takes is a strong frequency from a satellite, which will give them access to your CHIP inside your brain. And through those high concentrated frequencies from the satellite, they can use a remote control to control you. You people have no idea what you're getting yourselves into, getting this brain CHIP. So they tell you all these cool and convenient things you'll be able to do with the brain CHIP. However, in a broad sense, whatever is not what it seems to be. This CHIP is not what it seems to be. It's no more than a snare to entrap your soul to make you a slave. It says a perverse, impious, deceitful precepts. Okay, and then down here, what do you see? You see falsehood. You see lying. Okay, so lying wonders. Lying wonders meaning what? You know, wonders goes back to what? Teras, which means what? Miracles performed by anyone, right? So they're showing you all these miracles and what you can do with this brain CHIP. But there's falsehood behind it because they're not telling you everything that the CHIP would allow others to do with it. So there's intentional falsehood behind this brain C-hip. Okay. Now let's go to Revelation. And as a matter of fact, before I get Revelation, let me get Ecclesiasticus chapter 13 verse 14. So let's get Sirach real quick. Let's do this. Let's get the book of Sirach, chapter 10. I believe it's verse 8. No, 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 no. It's in the 10th chapter though. Here, let me do this. Okay, Sirach. Let me see. Let me see. So let's hit Central F and let's type in king. Oh my goodness. Okay. Where is it? Hold on a second. Here it is. Sirach chapter 10 verse 3. Hey, please excuse me. Okay, Sirach chapter 10 verse 3. It says, an unwise king destroyeth his people. Now, we, the Hebrew Israelites, which are the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians, we are the Lord's people. But who are the people of the Edomites? Who are the people of the so-called elites? Who are the so-called kings of this planet? Who are their people? These self-proclaimed white people. Okay, them fake Jews in the land of Israel. Okay, they are Edomites. Okay, they are the people of the so-called elites. Okay, these self-proclaimed white people here in America, the self-proclaimed white man in Australia, the self-proclaimed white man in Ukraine, the self-proclaimed white man in Europe, the self-proclaimed white man in Russia, the self-proclaimed white man in Germany. These are all Edomites. Okay, and guess what? The so-called elites, they are king over those people. So guess what? These so-called elites, they're likened unto what? An unwise king, which destroyeth his people. And why is that? Because they plan on putting brain C-hips inside of the brains of their own people, which is only going to lead to the destruction of his own people. So an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Now let's go to Ecclesiastes, because these guys are nothing but a bunch of children, man. Okay, let's do this. Ecclesiastes. Okay, so it's Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 16. Excuse me for that. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 16. Woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child, and thy princes eat in the morning. You see that? Because a child is not capable of making responsible decisions. A child makes more irresponsible decisions than responsible ones. Okay, a child lacks discernment when it comes right from wrong. You know, a child is prone to, doing childish things. And the so-called elites, they're just a bunch of grown-ass, badass kids. They're a bunch of grown, badass kids that the Lord gave the rule of the planet into. So woe unto thee, O land, when thy king is a child, and thy princes eat in the morning. Which the princess is talking about the lower government, such as the Senate, the Congress, the judicial system, the Senate, the Republican, the Democrats, the representatives. Okay, these are your princes which operate under the main government. So Revelation chapter 13 verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles Now let's look up miracles here. Okay, by the means of those miracles, and you're gonna find out it's the same as signs in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, okay, which is semaion, miracles. Okay, by the sight of, okay, by the means of those miracles. Okay, let's look this up. By the means of those miracles, just left hand witchcraft. Go ahead and click on this.
Strong's G 4592. Semaion. Semaion.
Okay, and what do you see down here? Those miracles, right? And what do you see right here? An unusual occurrence transcending the common course of nature. And that brain C-hip is a unusual occurrence transcending the common course of nature, because nobody has ever heard about this. And through this technology, this is how these Edomites are performing their miracles. They're using technology and left hand witchcraft to what? To create a unusual occurrence transcending the common course of nature. So through this brain C-hip, they are performing miracles, showing people what they can do and what animals can do when they put this device inside their brain. So, and he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the sword, which had the wound by the sword and did live. Okay, and the beast that had the wound by the sword and did live is talking about the ancient Roman Empire. This image here is talking about the NWO, the New World Order. Okay, verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And that time is fastly approaching, okay, because the time is coming where they're going to start, you know, Esau's going to move forward with these terrorist attacks through the U.S. government, and then they're going to put the blame on particular groups, okay, and then, you know, that's when the persecution is going to begin. You know, certain of us is going to be arrested, and we're going to be beheaded for not accepting this man's goddamn CHIP, which is the MOTB. Verse 16, and he is talking about the so-called elites who have control and governance over the whole world, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma, in. Now when you look up this word in, the word in is short for what? Inside. So really when you see that word in is really inside. So, and he caused of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma inside their right hand or inside their foreheads. And what's inside your forehead? Your brain. And that no man might buy or sell. Save, another word for save is except he that had the charagma, the M-A-R-K, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And now let's move on to the next chapter. Okay. So Revelation chapter 14, and this is going into the punishment for taking the CHIP, which is the MOTB. The MARKOFTHEBEAST. That's what the CHIP is. It is the MOTB. Revelation 14 verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his MARK in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And what is the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation? That's talking about the nuclear destruction, because during World War III, there's going to be a nuclear war. And during the nuclear war, Russia, Germany, Turkey, NATO, North Korea, Germany, India, Iran, China, okay, all these countries, you know, and probably more, is going to shoot their ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles, on the United States of America. Okay, thus turning America into a lake of fire. So anybody who has this CHIP inside them, it can be in any part of your body. Especially if you're an Israelite, this message is really going to the Israelites, as serving as a warning to you. If you have this CHIP, okay, the MOTB inside your body, according to biblical prophecy, you're going to die in the nuclear fire. Okay, so that's what the wine of the wrath of the Heavenly Father is, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented. Now, what does the word torment mean? The word torment means to be tortured. It means to die. It means to die a slow, painful death. So it's not like, you know, there's going to be a boom and then suddenly, it's all over. You're back in the spirit world. Nah, the Lord's going to keep your ass down here on earth, and he's going to make you feel the fire. Just think about it. Your skin is going to melt off your body. And then after your skin melts off your body, what's underneath your skin? The white meat. And guess what? Your white meat, the blood, all that's going to feel that intense fire. And they say that the heat from the explosion of a nuclear warhead can nearly reach up to the surface of the temperature of the sun. So that's really fucking hot. So the Lord's going to melt you. You're going to be melted if you take that CHIP. So you're going to be tormented. You're going to be tortured with nuclear fire. Okay? You're going to be tortured with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Because Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, is going to be present during the nuclear destruction. And as people is dying in the nuclear destruction, the Lord's elect, the 1/3, is going to be getting beamed up into what the world calls UFOs. Yahweh Shai is coming back in what the world calls a UFO. And he's going to be in the most biggest one up in the sky. So Lord's will, you were edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. With that, I'm going to say shalom. Is on to the next one.